Hey guys, it's Rufus, and the first thing you'll need to know for kids are the basics. We will have rotations at the top of white stairs, one rotation will also be between attic and kids, and the last one is on this kids wall, and you're going to have some options here. You can choose which side you want to open, but I like opening the side closer to the window, since you can see behind the bed pretty easily. And on site, I also like to open the hatches since it gives the defenders an option for rotation, and any attackers walking through attic are going to be more predictable and would have to be prepared for the possibility of someone playing below the attic hatch. There are a few angles you're going to want to know about. First, this angle which watches the bottom of white stairs. This is very good for the dorms player to utilize, and it can also be used to watch the vault in for dorms window. Now if you vault onto this dresser, you can peek into attic, which is a pretty common peek, but in case anybody needs to know how to do the vault prompt, here it is. And this spot is a very common plant spot in games, so you should know that it's actually very easy to come down this hallway and land a nitro on the spot. However, you should always be prepared for the attackers to plant somewhere else, and since there are a lot of viable plant spots in games, this is something that you should be prepared for. At this point, I'll be talking about some different holds that you can do, starting with the tower hold. And this hold has been one that has been picking up popularity because it has the potential to be extremely effective. And there are a few variations, so bear with me. First, I'm going to talk about the singular tower hold. This is when you put one person at the very top of tower by themselves to hold this position. The operator that you use does not matter. However, by now you're probably wondering how anybody could play at the top of tower when these windows exist. Well, these two windows cannot be used by the attackers since anybody repelling here is exposed to several different angles. This makes it very easy to play at the top of the tower, and it's the entire reason this strat works at all, because if you couldn't get people off of those windows and prevent them from playing there in the first place, this hold would be impossible to do. So now that we have this in mind, the best spot to play in tower is this northeastern corner. Even though you have no cover, you're not exposed to the one window that will be consistently used, and overall it's just the easiest spot to play. Now when you're performing this hold, you can watch the stairs very easily, and you can also use these angles, which you can use yourself or use as a distraction. Either way, the great part about this position is winning gunfights is very easy as the height advantage is a huge help. The whole point of this position is to get an early pick and get traded out in order to take out some essential utility from the other team. However, you want to do a solo tower hold against teams that do a split push on attic and master. A split push is when you push both master side and attic side at the same time. But anyway, the reason that's important is that holding tower by yourself is very difficult against 5 people, but very easy against 2 or 3. The extra numbers and the utility will just completely overwhelm you. So if you want to perform this hold against a full team of 5 people, you can do it with someone else. You would place that other player around rear stage and the tower stairs, and they can destroy drones and help waste time. Having them play as Pulse or Vigil too can be really powerful, as Vigil is really good for denying intel, and Pulse is really good for giving that intel, so it really depends how you want to play this. Obviously, Vigil has the much better weapon, and so I like playing Vigil in that spot, since it's a more frag heavy position. The player at the bottom of tower wants to either prioritize their lives or waste as much time as possible. What this means is that the player playing at the bottom of the tower should either rotate down the tower stairs if they're getting pushed, which can be risky because it's not uncommon for teams to enter the building from bunker, or you can go up to the tower and play around these shelves. This is a more passive take initially, but once you start getting pushed, you can peek however you want. However, I have one tip here that really changes this hold a lot, and it's the fact that you can prep this window at the shelves, and you can run all the way to the attic. You'll need to have prepped the attic window earlier in the round, but using this as a rotation is extremely powerful. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use this, and I'll go by them one by one. First is to rotate back into sight. That's going to be how you're using it most oftentimes. Now, the other way you can use it is you can have someone play in tower, say you're doing the solo tower hold, and your teammate in attic decides to come over and help. So what he does is he jumps out the attic window, jumps into tower, and kills whoever he needs to kill. Now, you can also use this rotation even if you don't have a teammate in tower. Like, say you know Thermite's about to open that attic wall, you run outside and you just try and kill that Thermite before he can open the attic wall. You know, you play for a trade, try and get some utility. Like, it's a really surprising tactic that your enemies are not going to see coming. If you don't want to hold tower, you can also just give the attackers tower control, which is completely fine, and delay time in attic. Here, it's very common to place a shield and play behind it until it's cleared. This only wastes so much time though, so if you want to waste more time here, Smoke is very valuable as he can throw his babes at this choke point and then play close with his shotgun. And you can also place Goyo shields to waste extra seconds in this hallway, but that's only going to waste as much time as it takes to clear a Goyo shield, plus the extra 15 seconds or so. But another option is to have a set hold in meeting, and the interesting thing about this is that you can watch Attic from below pretty well, and so it's very difficult for the attackers to ignore you if they want to push Attic. If you reinforce the stage walls, meeting can be used as a bunker, but a team that is prepared for this can very easily pinch you and roam clear you if you're alone and if they're prepared for it. So if you do decide to play meeting from below, be prepared to fall back quickly and try and stay alive. That's all that really matters. However, once you lose control of the first half of Attic, you can really just have someone play close with a shotgun, like Smoke as I mentioned earlier, and with this you can almost always get a trade pretty easily. Now, you can even just have more shields stacked up in the back of Attic, and overall, delaying Attic is mostly just going to be a game of utility, and the amount of time you waste here is going to be pretty representative of how much utility you put onto here. Whether that be shields, Melusi, Goyo, Smoke, or whatever other way you can delay time here. The last hold I'm going over is the Master Hold. Now, let me explain what the goal of this hold is, because it's not actually a hold in Master, but rather a hold in Trophy or Armory to contest Master. This hold will always consist of a Trophy hold, but you can choose to put a player in Armory if you choose to do so, and you'll see why this is useful in a bit. Anyway, the basic idea of this hold is to hold Trophy in order to contest Master. So to hold Trophy, you set up a shield at this doorway, and use an ADS or Wamai to keep the shield alive. And you can set some sort of intel in Master too, if you want to promote aggression, but that is optional. However, if you extend into Armory, you do get a few benefits. You can watch Master from a different angle and be quite safe. However, teams have gotten very good at clearing Armory, so if you get pushed here, which you will a lot of the time, I suggest just destroying a drone and falling back. Ultimately, you want to prioritize your life, and because staying in Armory will be very risky, it is very easy to land a frag kill from below, and if a team is utilizing Buck, or any other explosives, clearing Armory is going to be extremely easy. The last thing I'll mention on the topic is this Armory wall, and you can choose what you want to do with this wall. I like to reinforce it shut, but you should experiment with opening it and making rotates. I choose to reinforce it because I like the extra cover. But if you wanted to have a person play aggressively in Closet, opening the Armory wall could be pretty good considering it allows the Closet player to see into Armory. Although you might be thinking, why would you have someone in Closet? Well, a less common strategy is opening this games wall, and this might seem pretty questionable at first, but let me put this in perspective. If you open up the games wall, it makes it much more difficult to enter Master. And if you have a set holded Armory and Trophy, it's impossible to enter Master. This forces a team to do a systematic roam clear of Armory and Trophy before they can take Master control. And because the Master wall is open, this roam clear is much more difficult as the attackers can't just push into the Master doorway. They're going to have someone actively watch Master, or anybody in Closet getting aggressive, or anybody by the Master wall. So if you wanted to open the games wall, that's how you would use this. However, the last wall I'm going to talk about is this Trophy wall, and you can choose to open this Trophy wall. The benefit of this is that you can make it much harder to enter Trophy and Master by utilizing these angles from Attic. Whichever wall you open though is optional, and as I've said before, just experiment with this wall and figure out how you want to set it up, because you can fully reinforce it, you can open it, you can do whatever. However, at this point we're done describing details, so I'll just be giving a full strat here that you can use with any 5-stack. This strat is going to be using the Master and Armory hold, but feel free to add on any variations I mentioned throughout this video. The operators will be Jaeger, Wamai, Smoke, Mute, and Valkyrie. Jaeger will place 2 ADS in Trophy and another in Attic. His reinforcements will be on the Armory walls, and he will place his barbed on White stairs and the Armory stairs. Wamai will place his shield in Attic and reinforce both the Attic and Trophy walls. Smoke will place his shield in Trophy and open up the Master wall for lines of sight. In addition, he will make all of the rotates in sight. Mute will reinforce the games wall and place mute jammers at the Master wall, games door, White stairs, and the Attic wall. Valkyrie will place her cameras in Attic, Trophy, and dorms. Lastly, she'll set 2 reinforcements in kids. Jaeger will play in Armory. He needs to prioritize his life and fall out of Armory early if he gets pushed. Wamai will play in Attic, behind his shield. His goal is to waste as much time in Attic as possible if the attackers push there. Smoke will play in kids. Once Wamai loses his shield, he will swap positions and play close on Attic with his shotgun. He can also use his babes to delay extra time. Mute will play in Trophy and contest Master. Valkyrie can play around site and can rotate to the first floor, to go for a quick flank or a nitro pick. That's all to say for this video, and if you learned something, give the video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. Toodles.